Okay, so I'm
Where
making
else
this.
does gas come from?
So I'm making this video to. Ah! If you guys are wondering how to slice your 3D models that you've either created using a CAD program or downloaded on a site like Thingiverse or printables.com, it's a really simple process. All you have to do, I'll start with Thingiverse. We're going to download this model. You can auto set these models to open in a specific slicer. I have mine to auto set to open in Prusa Slicer. But if you don't have that configured and you want to open it in Prusa Slicer or Cura, then all you have to do is open your slicer, go to File, Import, wherever you downloaded that file at. So this is the one I just downloaded from Thingiverse. You're going to open it, and here you're going to have your settings for your layer heights as well as your materials. When you first download the program, you're going to have to configure the specific printer, which for Prusa Slicer is going to be right here. This is the printer that I'm currently using, but we're going to be using a lot of the Prusa Minis for the club, so if I were to add that, I would just go here and select the specific printer. Currently, all of our printers have a 0.4 millimeter nozzle, but we're going to have papers above each printer that specify the nozzle, the name, what slicer to use for it, and everything. So we're going to put 0.4 millimeter nozzle, and we're going to add that. So the bed size has shrunk because this is a Prusa Mini instead of the Prusa Mark III, which I have in the background right over here. And now once you configure the specific layer height, you can slice it. And once it's done slicing, you can export it. You're going to export it to like an external drive, like a USB stick, and then plug it into the printer and press Start Print. If you want to configure more of the settings, you can go into Print Settings right here. There's also filament settings where you can change the temperature. And these right here on the right side are for whether you want the export settings, the simple settings, or advanced. For you guys, I would suggest starting with simple or advanced, but you don't want to mess with too many of the numbers, because if you don't know what they are changing, then you could really mess up the print. For Cura, it's the same process, just different interface. You'd also drag and drop the model. So say I go into here and I have a part right here. If I want to print that part, I can just drag it onto Cura, and there it is. And I can, I have my Cura set to auto slice whenever there's anything there. So all I have to do is export it. And you also want to make sure you have the correct printer here. So right now I have an Ender 3 Pro. If I were adding the Prusa, you would scroll down to Prusa, and then you would add that in, make sure it's the same nozzle height and everything, change the materials, and your settings are going to look like this. If you want to customize more of it, you can press Custom, and then that expands your options. The infill percentage will change how long the print takes, how much materials it consumes, and how strong the object is. Layer height affects the aesthetic of it if you don't want to view the layer lines, and if you want it to print fast, you're going to put it on a high setting. Support is not always necessary. For example, this print right here, you're not going to need support on. Anything that overhangs where there's no support, you're going to need to turn that on. And some models also will require adhesion turned on, which is basically just like a brim around the object so that it doesn't fall off the bed plate. You see this right here, the blue, that is the adhesion. That's called a brim or a skirt. If you are using Onshape, how you're going to export your model is by going down to the left bottom side where you have your part number. You're going to right click that, and then you're going to go to export. For this, let's see, download, That's a strange file type. Let's see if we can export that as an STL or OBJ. Okay, so yeah, you click this and then you have your options. Most commonly STL, OBJ. You can use a bunch of these. I usually stick with OBJ or STL. And then you're going to want to make sure you change your resolution, because if I were to download this with the coarse resolution, then it will turn your ring into a bunch of polygons. My mouse just fucking died. That was my luck. My mouse died right now.
Just pause it and then pick up.
I can't. My mouse is dead.
Oh.
That was weird.
Well, that sucks
Are
too.
we live?
We're live.
Live?
We're live in front of the studio audience.
Oh, really? Who's
Like
here?
SNL.
Hi!
Who's here?
Who's here? I hope you guys are learning good things today.
Okay, so we're gonna put that on fine. Then we're gonna export that.
Just kidding.
And then it's gonna do a zip file. You're gonna save that, and you can extract it. So if you guys don't know how to extract zip files, you're just gonna right-click, extract all, extract, and then now you have your part. With Tinkercad, I'm sure all of you know how to, because there's a button that says export in the top right. You just choose the format, and then it exports. And yeah, that's pretty much it. If you guys have any questions about Cura or Prusa, leave me a comment or join the Discord and we can answer your questions. So I forgot to show how to export files that are in Inventor. It is still easy. It's probably the hardest of the bunch. But so once you've created your object, you go to File, Export, CAD format. Make sure you don't export it as a drawing file. You're going to want to choose STL or OBJ again. And then similar to on Onshape, how it had the options for lowering the resolution of the object, you're going to go to options here, and I have it set to source units, resolution. I have it set to high. I think automatically it's set to medium, so you'll want to change that if it's some complex geometry. And then all you have to do is press save, and then you've then saved your object. One other thing is, if you are wondering what printer to add to your slicer, the printers that we're mostly going to be using are the Prusa Mark III, which is this top one right here, and the Prusa Mini, which is the one on the left down here. We also have four Bambu Labs X1 Carbons pre-ordered, as well as the CR10 and CR30 if you guys want to look up those printers. Another thing we're going to be trying is LiDAR scanning to create 3D models using a scanner like this. So I will be updating you guys when those are coming in. Okay, so
are my titties
this
too big?
technical difficult. Whoa. I am so confused. What is happening? What am I looking at?